I was an expert in my baggage. I was an expert in my bullshit, my belief systems, and yet I wasn't able to do anything about it. And years later, it was 2016 when I discovered neurolinguistic programming, and I was like, oh, we can actually rewire our minds. We can change, we can interrupt the pattern and create a new strategy to get what we want. We can actually let go of the baggage. When someone said you could let go of the baggage, I was like, excuse me? What is this sorcery?
Welcome to Honest Feedback, the podcast where deep truth meets bold transformation. We've created this podcast for spirit-led individuals just like you.
Seekers of truth, personal growth, and meaningful connection. Whether you're navigating life's big questions, craving more joy and fulfillment, or simply looking for honest, relatable conversations, you're in the right place.
Through personal stories, actionable advice, and transformative insights, our ultimate goal is to empower you to create a life that's overflowing with pleasure, purpose, and authenticity.
We know you're capable of incredible things, so let's make it happen together.
Welcome back to another episode of Honest Feedback Podcast. We are so excited to be back, and we have an incredible high frequency dope conversation featuring
me.
Yes.
Yes, I am so excited. I had an opportunity to be on my friend Heather McMahon's podcast, Creating You.
Yes. Oh, incredible podcast.
Oh my gosh. She is such a masterful interviewer.
Yes. Yes.
What I love about her is like first of all, she understands the work. We're all very versed in the same thing. And yet she was able to get into the nuances, ask beautiful questions.
Absolutely.
While also making it digestible for anyone who doesn't know what the work that I do.
Yeah. I just was taken aback. I remember, I think we were driving. Maybe we were in bed. But listening to the episode, and I was like, babe, this is so good. There are stories in here I think you've never shared anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I know these, but these are deep cuts from the Lisset files.
Yeah. Actually, I know we were driving back from camping.
Oh.
Because I have a little gold bow tie. It's a little like nugget. We were doing flash tattoos on a camping trip. Oh, yeah. So if you are watching this, you will see the tiniest little bow tie on my neck tattoo.
Easter eggs, y'all.
Easter eggs. Yeah.
Yes, you should always watch our faces because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know, this is also a visual podcast.
Yes.
But yeah, the conversation was just riveting. It hit. I felt like I got a new understanding. Just a new 126 bits of like information and nuance and understanding. And so I am so excited to dive into this conversation. Let's listen.
Hello, listeners. If you're only listening and not watching the video, I'm grinning ear to ear, and so is my guest because she's full of the most beautiful energy and spirit. Lisset King is an emotional ninja. I'm going to just start right there and let her explain what that is, who she is, what she does, and thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it is an absolute honor to be here. Emotional Ninja. I love the title. I was working on what is it that I actually do. And around me, your baggage doesn't stand a chance. The thing that's keeping you small, the thing that's keeping you from living the most incredible life, doesn't really, it doesn't stand a fight. It doesn't have a fight in it. So I went with Emotional Ninja. If you want to know, accolades and things of that nature, I have a background in psychology. I am a trainer of neurolinguistic programming, hypnotherapy, master practitioner of hypnotherapy, as well as a Huna Practitioner, Hawaiian energy work. And I bring all of that plus, I think like 17 years of coaching in that field into supporting people in just, blowing through the thing that is keeping them small, the thing that by the time people have come to me, they've exhausted all other things. They've been to therapy for 10 years. They sat with ayahuasca in the jungle for 2 weeks, and all things that I love and respect have done myself. And yet the work that I call it medicine. The medicine that I serve, while it's not pharmaceutical in any way and it's not plant medicine, it is medicine. We find a way to keep what's been stored in you energetically, generationally, past life, and we, heal up your karmic wounds, and your life is just never the same.
If we stopped right there, that would have made, I know, my day and everyone else's, I'm sure. That Lisette she's the real deal. I will say that I feel a sisterhood in our the words, some of the same trainings and those sorts of things. You're 57 levels above where I've just climbed up to the third level. Um, but come back and talk about baggage. Just that term, if a listener hasn't understood what that means, because yes, lighting up the baggage and getting rid of the baggage is some of the most beautiful medicine. And I love that you call it that. I have some clients that call it magic, and I'm like, magic kind of means that you have to believe. And this
Yeah.
work works even if someone says it isn't gonna work.
Yes.
Remember that conversation we had this morning?
Yes, absolutely. So baggage, hmm. We have responses to things that happen in our lives. And, I would be amiss to say there aren't things, if I just didn't acknowledge that there are things going on in the world that can be considered triggering and things of that nature. And yet, it's baggage if it's disproportionate to what's happening. If you're having a reaction that's bigger than what's actually happening, every emotion has a place. Anger's there so that we know when there's an injustice or our boundaries have been crossed. Now, if someone, say, cuts you off on the freeway and you want to chase them down and kill them, that is disproportionate to what's actually happening. We would call that baggage. Do you have unresolved anger? Do you have unresolved sadness? And all of these things, why I so lovingly refer to it as medicine, is all of these things in excess will hurt your physical body. By the time it hits the physical body, it is so in the 3D, and it takes, we are told that it takes time to heal. And yet the magic in our work is that we know change happens in an instant. Like when you decide you want to let it go, that you no longer want to hold on to it. So we identify the baggage, we identify what is the belief that your life is reflecting back to you. In every moment, your life it's a feedback loop. It is the ultimate algorithm. You think Instagram's good, you think TikTok's good, the universe is feeding back to you what you believe at the deepest level in every moment of time. And
Mm.
so when we grab the baggage, the I'm not good enough, the I'm not smart enough, I'm not lovable, the thing that's been running this pattern in your life that's repeating you feel like you're in the same movie or the 50th season of the same show. It's because there's baggage that hasn't been dealt with, unresolved trauma, things that you just never looked at. We have so many habits. It's easy to know a habit like flossing your teeth, right? And, some of us have a great habit with that, and some of us don't at all. Or the way you put on your pants. Everyone is either a left leg person or a right leg person. And you've probably never had to think about that until someone brought it to your attention. And yet, our beliefs run like that too. Our
Mm.
beliefs are so autopilot. Someone tries to give you money or tries to help you, and you go, "What's in it for you? What are you trying to get out of me?" Instead of, what if it were possible for you to heal? What if it were possible for you to have more? And you're just so used to not believing it's possible for you. That's a habit, just as much as putting your pants on the left side or the right side.
Makes it make so much more sense. You said earlier, as soon as we make the decision to let it go,
Mhm.
can you talk about, because I can speak as a clinician and an NLP practitioner, people they hold on to the thing,
Mhm.
but there's something to be said about as quickly as they chose that thing, they can choose to let it go. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we know that trauma can happen in an instant, right? But yet we decide or we hear that we have to live with it for the rest of our lives. If it happened in an instant, why can't it leave in an instant? And it's the beliefs we have around that, around our bodies, our minds, our spirits, our diagnosis, that's like, no, well, it's got to take a long time. It's like, sure. Your unconscious mind has to make you right about the thing you believe at the deepest level. So if you believe it's going to take a long time, it takes a long time. I am so congruent on baggage can disappear in a moment that my clients can't hold on to their baggage unless they want to. And in which case we poke at it. We have we have a good time. I love laughing with my clients. If we're not laughing, we're not doing it right. If we can't poke a little fun at like we talked about this a little bit on my other call. I have a mastermind called Mastery Mornings. And it's just like, but I love it. It's my precious. Like, no, you can't take away my not good enough. I got it from my grandma. It's like we treat it like an heirloom. And it's just like, no, life has to be hard. That's the way my dad taught me. And
Mm,
if it had to be hard, if that was a universal fact, that would be universal to everyone.
mm,
And so if it's not true for everyone, it doesn't have to be true for you.
right.
And that might make people uncomfortable. They're like, but what do you mean? I've had this my whole life, and then they defend it and they fight for it and they want to hold on to it. And it's just like, okay, okay. My wife is just an incredible practitioner, space holder, and everything. And if I say baggage that she just knows is baggage, she just goes, okay. And I'm like, shit. It's just a loving way to call it out, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Do you find people come bump up against this because it just sounds too simple? Everything you just said sounds it's clear, concise, it makes sense, and yet
Mhm.
it's too easy. Aren't we supposed to sweat and cry and bleed when we're going through this process of releasing trauma and whatever else?
Sure, if that's what you want.
Mm.
That's the way you like it. Like I said, I've sat in the jungles of Peru in 2 weeks of medicine, just crying my eyes out and purging out of all the holes. And it was miserable and it was terrible. And did I feel healed? Absolutely. Did I feel magical and a profound healing on the other side? Yes, I did. And that is one way. There are infinite ways to the light. There's not one way. And anyone who tells you one way is the way, I'm not saying that my way is the way. I'm saying it's a way that's available. And I've been doing it for long enough that I'm really masterful at it. We played this morning, like, do we think we can let go of this baggage in under 4 minutes? And everyone was like, yeah, let's go. And then we did
We did with time to spare. Yes.
with time to
Yeah.
spare.
Right.
So I'm just absolutely aligned in that knowing. So you can come with me and tell me that no, it takes super long. And I'm like, great. Then I'm not your practitioner. If you want this to be hard and painful, I'm not your person. Am I going to hold you accountable on the other side of letting go of baggage? Because letting go of baggage is just one step of release. It's the first step. And then we have to create a compelling future. Will your nervous system accept the new future you want to create? If your new future involves leaving your husband or your wife or leaving that cushy job you've had for 20 years, you may not even want to move in that direction. And so there's so many places we can stop ourselves if we want to. And then we have to take action. We have to take inspired action. You have to take action toward your goal, toward the person you're becoming. If you don't want to take action or you don't take action, that's a choice as well. And you've got to focus on the future you want, or you can doom scroll all the terrible things that are happening in the world. You have a choice in every moment, and you have a choice to hold on to it as long as you want as well.
So well said. Completely resonate.
Mhm.
Again, as a clinician, I see the struggle and the struggle and the struggle, and then I can use some of these things in there, and they don't know that, it's
Yeah,
used appropriately and ethically and with fidelity.
with consent.
But there's even a mindset. If I'm in therapy, I have to do the struggle bus. And if I'm in coaching, I'm going to be held to this different standard or whatever else. As you describe all of that, you have a sense of self. And I would love listeners to know how you came to that, because this is all about hearing about people creating they're creating you is the name of it. So creating their you, for lack
Mhm.
of better grammar. You're welcome, listeners. But
So how did I create me is the question.
yeah,
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. I will give my origin story. I, like many people, I can say this because I've come through the other side of trauma, baggage. I was molested as a little girl, changed me, changed my genetic makeup, changed my outlook on the world. I decided the world was unsafe. And my little 6-year-old brain created a part that was protecting myself from being hurt. If you just assume people are going to hurt you, you're not very surprised. And yet that's what the reality I kept living in and creating and co-creating. And, not to say that my 6-year-old wasn't a victim. Absolutely. Yet at 26, when I was still being rude to people, confrontational, not allowing love in, all the things that I was doing because I believed that the world was unsafe
Mm.
and I wasn't worthy of peace. All I was creating and co-creating that world at 26-year-old, whose fault is it? And that was the first time I realized I was like, oh shit, I wasn't responsible for what happened to me, but I'm responsible for all of this other shit going on in my life. And that's when the lights came on and I was like, oh wow, first time I ever discovered your mind can change your reality. And it was like the lights came on. And so I had all this awareness of what was going on and I was aware of my baggage, but I actually had nowhere to put it or nowhere to let it go. I
Mm.
could take it from therapist to therapist and go, hey, I can tell you why I was a jerk for that many years. I can tell you why I had addiction problems. I can tell you why all of these things happen. And I could perfectly explain it. I had it down. Did you want to know my life story in 6 minutes? Did you want to hear all my trauma in 6 minutes, or do you want the hour-long version? Do you want to commiserate about it all night over a bottle of whiskey? Because we can do that too. I was an expert in my baggage. I was an expert in my bullshit, my belief systems, and yet I wasn't able to do anything about it. And, years later, it was 2016 when I discovered neurolinguistic programming, and I was like, oh, we can actually rewire our minds. We can change, we can interrupt the pattern and create a new strategy to get what we want. We can actually let go of the baggage. When someone said you could let go of the baggage, I was like, excuse me? Like what? What is this sorcery? What is,
Exactly.
what is this sorcery? And then, I had an addiction to Diet Coke, among other things. And I had a breakthrough, and all of a sudden it was gone. I stopped treating my body like a rental. I started treating it like a temple and I was like, well, this work actually changing my life. And so I went deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And I was like, well, of all the medicine I've tried, and I've tried many, this is the one that's actually working. And time again, I've had clients come to me and go, I've gone to therapy for 10 years. I've been going to therapy for 15 years. Couldn't like, they didn't tell me I could let it go. And they didn't tell me that I can be where I am now. And so it went from awareness, I was white knuckling my thoughts, like I will create a new reality. And it was a much slower process. When I released the baggage, it was like it just cleared everything in my mind. And that's when I met my partner. That was when I made the most money I'd ever made in my life. Every month is a game. Like, can we top last month? Not because I need to, because it's fun. How many people can I help this month? Let's see. I'm so excited to see. And I've decided life is meant to be fun, and it has been. And emotional ninja, like why would I choose that title? Because in a room full of networking, when people go, oh, I'm a therapist, or I do NLP, or I do hypnosis, I say emotional ninja. They're like, you're the emotional ninja, aren't you? I'm like, yeah, I stand out.
Mm. You stand out without saying a word in the most compelling way
Mhm.
because of the energy that you have that I've been able to experience across the screen these past month or two or three. I think over 12 weeks.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
you've been there. You've been
I,
there about 4 months. It's been great. Yeah.
yeah, I get the sticker. I love
Yeah.
the sentence and treating my body as a temple rather than a rental.
Yes.
That's such a beautiful mantra to have because it says exactly what your intention will be in anything that you do, just knowing you've got that base that you're taking care of. You got rid of
Yes.
Diet Coke. It's really funny. People listening, if you know NLP, if you know, I got rid of popcorn. Can you know how tricky that
Yeah.
is when I break state?
Yes.
So I've come up with some different words, but uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, me, a bowl of popcorn and a family size bowl, not just a cute little cereal bowl
Yes.
with a half a stick of butter and salt, and that would be my dinner. And I was like,
Yes.
game on, I'm eating, having gone through a world of an eating disorder, coming, I'm eating, so leave me be. To release that thing that, not that it had a hold as far as it was the baggage around the thinking I deserved to treat myself poorly. And you can't take that away from me. And I feel like a lot of people get stuck in the doom scrolling or the negativity of because they think they deserve to mistreat themselves or others. What is something you'd share with somebody in that state?
Mm, mm. I think of the person I love the most, and then I wonder if I would treat them that way. If I would speak to them the way that I spoke to myself
Mm.
sometimes. A Diet Coke is the one I used in the classroom. But when I did my breakthrough on physical health, particularly, I was smoking cigarettes. I was drinking. I was, I like, fuck it. I don't even care. I'm a very real person. I have found a pill on the street and went, I wonder what that's going to be. Let's see what happens. And then Googled what it was because
Sure.
I just didn't care about my body and I
Yeah.
didn't think it mattered. I didn't care about myself. And when I came to, the moment of realization that like, I saw it recently and it was the most beautiful thing is like when you're a people pleaser, don't forget your people too. You know, like can we make ourselves happy? Can we love ourselves? Can I please myself? And now I won't touch water in plastic bottles. Like I'm very particular about the water I drink. And I have a friend and we've had a history. And she was pregnant. She was like, "Hey, is this milk pasteurized?" And I was like, didn't you like do meth with a homeless guy in a bathroom once? I go, I care. She goes, I care about my baby and I care about my body because it's what's feeding my baby. And, granted, I came through the other side of, oh, my body is a temple. Like, I love this. This is the thing I get to serve. I get to serve people. I get to help people, who maybe were completely hopeless. I've had people that, were on the edge of wanting to end things and come to me and like find renewed hope. Now, why would I, you don't litter in a church. Why would I litter in my body? And that love and care I brought into myself. And that's not to say I love my things, so I got a sweet tooth. I love my ice cream, but now I have vegan and gluten-free ice cream at Kate's. Free shout out to her. She's incredible. Best ice cream you can get anywhere. And it's here in Portland. I love it. And so I do my best to treat my body well because I want it to last a long time. Because the longer I'm here, the more people I can help. And it's stuff that we know in NLP is reframing. I've reframed my belief around myself as seeing myself as someone who's worthy, as seeing myself as someone who matters. Like I matter. I used to not matter, and
Mm.
now I matter.
So it really sounds as though it starts with how you are speaking to yourself and believing in what your place in this world might be, what you're going to do with that. And so you're serving, so you want to be around for as long as possible for that. Hmm. What is the most rewarding part of this work that you do?
Hmm. Gosh, there's so many parts. I would say when someone who didn't believe something was possible, they come out the other side and they're like, holy shit. Like I didn't even know, there was, I'm wanting to check in with confidentiality. Yeah, I won't share personal stories. There's one person who she lets me share her story the most, and or it's just such a fun story to share as well. And essentially, she came to me because she really wanted to meet a good guy. She really wanted to date a man and had a terrible history. And yet she had a really big, overwhelming belief that all men were trash. And so those conflicting beliefs, your unconscious mind can't hold conflicting beliefs. It can't hold conflicting truths. And NLP is all over the place. Pharmaceutical commercials know NLP. They know if they catch you with the visual, you'll delete the part about may cause suicide or diarrhea, anal bleeding, because your mind can't accept two truths. So here she is wanting wanting a good man, and yet I believe that all men are trash. And she came to me and we blew out her baggage. Like
Mm.
she got to a place where, essentially it wasn't about the men, it was about herself. Blew out the baggage, had a new belief in herself. And she recently got engaged to the man she met after we worked together. And the moments that make me like tear up is in the same week I got engagement photos, two of these photos, where they're pointing at the ring with their partner, from former clients. And I was like, neither of those people thought that was possible. And now they're sending me a photo from inside their dream. And
Mm.
that's priceless. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's beautifully magical in its own way. I love that. The unconscious mind. I have no idea what that, we hear unconscious, subconscious, conscious, all of the terms running around in the world,
Mhm.
some being backed up with really great definitions and people are then able to understand,
Yes.
some not so much. So for clarity purposes and fun, talk to me
Yeah.
about the unconscious mind.
Absolutely. I have found a great way that lights me up. It's really easy to explain. So, your unconscious mind, subconscious, they're used interchangeably. If you hear some subconscious mind, they're talking about unconscious mind. And your conscious mind is the part of you that's like, we're going that way. It's the captain, right? And I like to refer to it as the ant. It's like a little ant. And if you know anything about ants, they're so diligent and strong, and they don't, you could drop a tree in front of an ant and they'll find their way around it, and they'll carry something 10 times their weight. And you'll see them with a big ass leaf going through and following, 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 thinking they're going in a direction. And your unconscious mind is like an elephant. And the ant is riding on the back of an elephant.
Mm,
And the elephant, the thing about elephants is that they are powerful, beautiful, majestic beasts that remember everything, just like your unconscious mind. They're capable of incredible things, just like your unconscious mind. But the way they trained elephants in the circus, it's brutal, but we need to talk about it, is they would put a rope around their neck and tie it to a stake in the ground when they were little. So when your elephant is little, gets a rope around its neck, stake in the ground, and it fights and it fights and it fights and eventually learned helplessness. And now there's a rope around its neck and it's a giant beast, and you could put it over your desk and they're not going to move. Limiting beliefs are like that rope around your neck. If you have a limiting belief, if you're like, this is the time I'm going to hit this number, this is the year I'm going to hit my biggest number in my career, and your ant is like, I am marching, and it thinks it's moving, but it's on the back of an elephant. An elephant's like, oh, hell no. Last time I went after my dream, I was disappointed. We're going to stay right here. And so we're trying to move without the cooperation and the rapport of our unconscious mind. I think the unconscious mind is the most important work you can do, to become one with it. I talk to my body like it is the most brilliant thing in the world. Something happens, I get a bite, I'm like, or I get a mosquito bite, I'm like, don't make that itch, heal that as quickly as possible. And my body has that intelligence. I might forget where something is, and I'm like, unconscious mind, where is it? And poof, it pops up because your unconscious mind actually does remember everything. I tell my unconscious mind, you know, if you want to like get scientific, the reticular activating system, the part of your brain that recognizes patterns, it is so used to recognizing the pattern of I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. No one loves me. Money is hard. Pick your belief that you think is so true. Your reticular activating system will find that pattern. So I just tell it to look for better patterns. I'm like, show me where all the prosperity is in the world. Show me how prosperous I am. Show me how I'm already living in my dream life. And then we just pay attention all day. And we're like, I have a
right.
whole podcast studio right here in the basement of my house. How cool is that? Somewhere inside there's a little entertainer that just wished, like this is a dream come true. And so you can tell your unconscious mind, you can when you build rapport with it, when you release the limiting beliefs, when you let go of the anger, sadness, guilt, shame that's been holding you back, the fear that's stored in there. You just get so much control back. You get them the ant and the elephant in alignment, and now you can go wherever you want to go.
Mm. Just giving it permission
Yeah. Is that
because it
helpful?
does. It's super helpful. I have not heard it put that way, so I love that. I use the analogy of a file cabinet, and it's just the unconscious mind has just kept all the files, and
Mhm.
then it generalizes it to keep it all organized, and so everything that looks like and feels like this must be this,
Mhm.
So we've come to a place where we've built rapport with our unconscious mind. We want to let go of these things. Finding a practitioner trained is a key, and
Mhm.
two, where how do we know how do we know we're ready? How have you heard from clients that why do you think you're ready now for the this? What's the do you have a theme that you've seen in people or statements made that they
Mhm.
say, yep, now's the time?
A recurring theme is I'm all out. I'm tapped out. Like I've done, I've spent a fortune. I've spent a fortune trying to figure this out. I've gone to all the seminars and felt the rah, rah, rah and the motivation, and the motivation half-life fell off, or um, I know what my problem is, but I can't change it. I was like, oh, we're halfway there. Amazing. Awesome. Fantastic. You're gonna make my job that much easier, and they're usually sick and tired of their own shit. They're like, I know what the problem is. I just can't change it.
Sure.
And so they're like, I have this problem, or I know I have a problem, I just can't quite find it myself. And the thing is that we can't read the instructions from inside the box, right? So it helps to have a practitioner. It helps to have someone, you can read every self-help book under the sun. It's like reading how to ride a bike. Like it doesn't matter unless you take action. You can read about doing medicine in the jungle, but you have to take it to experience it. You can know what your baggage is, but oftentimes it does help to have someone outside of you to help you. And I certainly believe anyone can heal themselves. I believe it. I don't think there's anything you can't heal from. We can get real spiritual. I know certain things are on your spiritual path for your unfoldment, you know. That is a whole separate conversation. Yet, if you're tired of it and you know what it is, or you're tired of your own shit, you're like, I'm better than this. I'm better than the results that I'm getting. You're ready for a breakthrough. You're ready for an expansion. You're ready for an up leveling. And the beauty is I have a lot of high profile clients, and sometimes they'll come to me because they want an edge. They're like, what's next? There's the process of digging yourself out of a hole, and that takes as long as it takes. But then there's those that are like, all right, I'm out of the hole. I have actually built something beautiful, and I want support. I want to make it even. How good can it get? How much better can it get? And so you're up leveling whether you're digging your way out of a hole or you're up leveling if you're going that way. And that's what people come to me for, or come to us
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, I love that. I hear a lot from all those same things, and then I hear people get to a place where they're almost observing themselves, like an out of body observation of self. For me, full disclosure, that's sort of how I saw myself on the couch with the popcorn. It's like, what is this? What are we doing here? Right? And other clients getting to that. Can you talk about feedback? Can you talk about, because you mentioned in the beginning, everything is feedback, or maybe you didn't, maybe I was hoping you did. I don't know. This conversation will go as it needs to.
Let's talk about feedback.
Okay. Yeah. As another informational piece around what's going on in your life and then how you grab it and make a belief or perception around it.
Absolutely. So, the ant and the elephant, that is the general how to separate the two. Now we need to know how the elephant works. And, there's a whole list, the prime directives of the unconscious mind. I love it. I teach it. I've taught it hundreds of times. It's my favorite thing to teach, and I'm currently writing a book on it. And I love simplifying it. if you had to dumb it down to what are the two main jobs of your unconscious mind, it's to keep you alive. If you're listening to this podcast, go ahead and thank your unconscious mind because it has done its job. Thank you. And the other one is to make you right about the thing you believe at the deepest level. And everything else is in service to those things. And so your life is just a feedback loop of what you believe at the deepest level. If you're doom scrolling and you're looking at 1,000 things to be upset about today, you're upset. And you something inside you wants to stay upset. And if you're doom scrolling and just looking at cat videos, respect. Like they're hilarious, but that is that because you want to laugh. The algorithm knows, like your algorithm, for me, it's TikTok. TikTok is the addiction. I love it, but I decide I want to go on there 30 minutes and I just want to laugh. And so I just skip anything that doesn't make me laugh. And it goes, ooh, they want to laugh. Another thing to laugh, another thing to laugh, another thing to laugh, another thing to laugh. That is your life. Your
Mm,
unconscious mind is the projector screen. Your life is the movie. And it's giving you a feedback loop of the emotion you're most addicted to.
mm. That is so powerful and exactly where people come into saying, I've got this feeling and I can't, it won't stop. And it's distressing me.
Mhm.
And then you go back and get their history around all the things they've done that's created that feedback loop and that algorithm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah. I
You're
love it.
doing a, I love it. I love it. I'm so excited. Um, I'm like a little kid. I get to talk to Lisette. Um,
Yeah.
I just love the energy of any other human. And I love the extent to which you take all of who you are and use it for good in such a beautiful way.
Yeah.
What is your hope as far as from now until 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 87 years from now? What is your
Oh,
biggest hope for your life and the lives of those around you that you may work with or not?
yeah. So, and now we're getting philosophical. I believe there's a shattering of timelines happening in real time right now. There is the old way that's fighting for survival,
Yep.
and it doesn't have a place anymore. It doesn't. It doesn't. AI when it takes over. However you want to look at it, I'm looking at a utopian world where, we coexist in a beautiful way. And, I grew up on Terminator and iRobot and all those films as well. But you can't, we can't continue to exist in that world with this technology. You can't hide the truth from people anymore. And the truth is that we're infinite beings creating our own personal realities. And I'll look over at the world and I'm like, that's interesting. I can see all the cracks I can see the house of cards falling. And I haven't participated in that world in a very long time because I'm over here building a new world where
Mm,
people are empowered, where people are living from aloha, where people are living from love and unity and connection and presence. And I'm contributing I'm investing, I'm all in on that world in every way, in my emotional resources, in my mental resources, in my resources. I'm building that world. And I'm I just it's an open invitation. No one has to do their work. You're listening to this. You're not listening to this and thinking, I want to stay in a shitty situation. You don't listen to podcasts like this if you're that type of person. But you know people that are like that. We know people that want to come that get off on complaining.
yeah, it's a dopamine hit.
It's a dopamine hit. Yeah. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? You know, and I just don't participate in that
Yeah.
reality. And if the timelines are splitting, I'm living in this one. If there's a multi-dimensional world, which there is, I'm choosing the highest dimension and I'm choosing the highest frequency, and I shall continue to choose that highest frequency. And
Mm,
my invitation is for other people to do the same. And you don't get bought in that it's all going to shit and it's all going to hell. Because
right.
then it will be. For as long as I've been alive, bless my father, I adore him. And he passed 12 years ago. He was so sad. And he was living in his own depression bubble. Like he used to lay in the bed with a blanket over his head, just contemplating sadness. I didn't have the word depression back then. Now, with all my years of experience, like, oh, my father had depression. He wasn't dealing with the wars or anything that's happening right now. He was dealing with the different wars that were happening back then and still thinking that the whole world was going to shit. And here I am, his daughter, living in a utopia simultaneously. Life is
Mm,
good. I look around and I see how blessed I am. And I know that's not the same case for everyone. But for those who wish to live in a higher frequency and a high vibration timeline, we've got to change your thinking. What's the rope around your neck? What do you
right.
believe about the world? Because you're contributing to that world. I'm not contributing to that world. I'm like, oh, I can see it falling apart. I'm over here building.
And how visceral that is to check in with yourself. I feel like the earth is having a visceral response
Hmm.
to to the vibrations going on. And if you're listening and you feel like this is too woo woo, just reach out to Lisette. She'll explain. It's easy. We are energy. Energy is around us, and what we do with that energy matters. Just the same as if I get up on a Saturday morning and sit in front of the TV all day, I'm using my energy. People think they're conserving, but you're using energy. If I go out for a walk, I'm using energy. I'm not losing energy by using it in a positive way,
Mhm.
a life affirming way.
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
the way that you're helping others is very life affirming for yourself and them.
Mm. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guiding others. I like
Guide.
guiding instead of helping.
Yeah, guiding. I don't think anyone needs help.
Yeah.
I think some people just could use a little support on the way up.
Right.
They need help. They need a hand up, not a handout. Like we're just like concentrate on my frequency. How can I support others? And is it woo? Sure. You know, does it work? Yes. And we can call it whatever. Before I teach Huna, I teach Huna intros, which is energy with the Hawaiian energy work. And the first thing I ask people is just say, I just want to gauge from 0 to woo, how woo are we? So I know how weird I can get during this weekend.
Mhm.
And when I have a room full of woo, we get deep and geek out and all the things. And I've just have so many fun life experiences. We talked about how I became me, but there's so much more fun, joyful miracles that I've seen and witnessed. I think someone believing they're unworthy and then just flipping a switch and going, I'm reading their notes back to them like, well, this morning you said you were unworthy. And they're like, no, I didn't. And I'm like, no, yes, you did say that. I go, great. So check, the change is there. And then watching them be completely different, then their whole life shifts.
Mm,
And that's not for the faint of heart either. Like some people like their comfortable bubble.
yeah.
And for them, get it. That's fine. No one has to change. Like, no one has to change. Like, you're fine. One time I was hanging out with a friend of mine and I was having an existential crisis and I'm like having all these things. And then I like talked myself out of it because it happens to the best of us. Like, I too cannot read the instructions from inside the box and need help. And my friend just looks at me. She goes, bro, you're fine. I was like, it was the thing I needed to hear. And it cracked me out. And some people you just need to hear, bro, you're fine. Like, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. You can let that thing go whenever you want. You want to
Yeah.
keep holding on to, money is hard. You want to keep holding on to, I'm unlovable. Go ahead. Hold it tighter, and, or let it go. If you want to let it go, like the link is below.
Yes, in the show notes, all the links. Yes.
Totally.
And you don't have, there's such a relief and a release and a, if some may say a placebo effect, even in the, you're fine. You don't have to do anything different. Like at
Exactly.
that moment, the struggle changes, it stops.
Hmm.
It's like the finger traps. Okay, ready? If listeners are lucky enough to be watching on video, as soon as I said that, now I can't find it. Anyway, the finger traps. We all played with them when we were kids, right?
Yes, yes.
You
The
pull,
more
you
you
pull, you, yeah. As soon as someone says, just relax, pull one
yeah.
finger at a time. Oh, it's incredible. I love using it as an example of clients. It's like, stop.
Oh, but bro, you're fine. It's not that serious. Like, really, all people need is a change in perspective. They don't
Right.
even know the rope is around their neck. They're just like, oh, I'm sorry for a second. I forgot I was a mystical cosmic being that could fucking do anything. I forgot I had all this power, and this rope is actually just a rope, and it's not actually tied to anything. I just believe it's real.
Right.
You just believe that your problems are real, but they're
Right.
not. In the whole grand scheme of things, your problems don't even compare to someone on the other side of the planet. So get over it, bro. You're
Right.
fine.
Right. And we don't even have to look at it as as a spectrum of bigger, smaller, whatever. They're yours. What do you want to do with them?
Yeah,
Are they fun? Are they comfortable? You like hanging around with them? Okay. People in the process of being chemically or psychologically addicted to something, they might go, yeah, this is cool. Leave me alone. No, okay. When they're ready, it
yeah,
changes. And
yeah,
sometimes somebody may not be ready in our realm of understanding of ready.
yeah. It's, I could be sad that my father passed away with all that sadness in his heart, or I could be like, I could be so happy that he's free from it,
Right.
and know that that was exactly the life that he needed to do all the things that he did. And at his funeral, so many people, what blew me away was how little I think he knew the impact he had on his family. Like he was the first of his family to come from Colombia. I come from immigrant parents. He was the first one to come leave a very violent situation. And started a mechanic shop, raised money, brought siblings over one by one by one, and earned like a giant family over from Colombia, brought him out of some really terrible things. And at his funeral, so many people spoke about like we wouldn't have the lifestyle we have today if it wasn't for him. And he would just focus on the negativity or the things that, and that's not to say he had sadness, he had trauma, and like, I'm not my father's practitioner. I see it, I recognize it, but in the whole cosmic scheme of things, it was an episode, a blip in the whole theme of life. We are here for a flash in the pan, a blip in time. It's like, what are you doing with it?
Mm,
Be better. And that's it. Like, that's kind of all I want to tell people. Like, it can be better. My life
yeah,
is so much better than when I was walking around asleep.
right. And when you're better, you get better, better, and more better.
The better it gets, the better it gets,
Yeah.
Abraham
Yeah.
Hicks.
Yeah. And I want to send that out too, what you just said about your dad, for people that could be really healing if we just stopped and perceived our parents or those who have wronged us to say, this is the first time they're doing life, maybe, maybe not. And they are equipped with what they're equipped with.
Yeah,
Why would we want to hold on to their baggage as well as ours?
yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of grief. I see a lot of people dealing with grief for parents in particular. And much of that is that they're still holding their parents' baggage of what they were or were not.
Hmm. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I love my dad. He was such a great man. He gave me great hair and this
Ah,
flawless skin. I'm so
oh,
happy. I love him to pieces. And,
yeah.
he made six incredible humans. Like,
Oh,
man, my siblings are just like outstanding, like good cream of the crop, great people. I feel very blessed for the family I came from. And I get to say, yeah, my dad came here with nothing and he built something, and I get to continue. I get to stand on the shoulders of that giant and build something even more beautiful.
it's so cool watching you build. And that Lisette has a podcast also. and
Yeah.
so many projects. What's something you're working on right now that you'd like listeners to know about?
Yeah, wow. There's so many things. So, Honest Feedback Podcast, it's a great podcast I have with my wife. Love it. It's a resource. For me, it's the way that my wife and I get to give back. Mastery Mornings is a beautiful community, free community that you can join and get some shit done and learn some things and get some coaching. And what is biggest on my heart right now, there's two things. I mean, working my one-on-one clients, that is how I serve the most. So reach out. It's very much for a short period of time. I'm going to move into paid consultation calls, but as of this coming out, I'm pretty sure I still have free calls. So I would say get on my calendar. Let's talk for an hour. I always like to say you will something will change and shift in that hour. And if you want to go deeper, we can. So I do
Mm.
an hour-long free consultation. And thank you for letting me talk about all these offerings, by the way.
That's what you're here for. Well, not what it's not what you're here for. Forgive me. You are here to show the world that there is possibilities that there are, and you are a conduit for so much healing and change for people. And I want them to know.
Yes. So thank you. And on that note, my wife and I serve women, particularly in luxury retreats. And our next retreat is January 26th through the 30th, called the Goddess Experience in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And it is at the Ritz-Carlton of Eco Resorts. It is white glove service. We are going to treat you and awaken the divinity inside of you so you are walking as the goddess that you are. The transformation, we do deep transformation with me. We do body embodiment work with my wife. Between us, we're doing rituals, and you walk out of there a different person. Anyone who's come to our luxury retreats, they do not leave the same person. Well, if you follow me at Lisset King Official on Instagram, and I will send you the link for the Goddess Experience, because that we only have a few spots left, but it's going to be beyond incredible.
People are changed listening to this conversation. I am quite sure.
Yeah, I
I'm
hope
quite
so.
sure. Absolutely. So imagine this at a retreat level. I mean,
Um, we're going to spoil you. We're going to spoil you the way you just beyond what you ever thought you deserved. That's our goal.
mm,
We love transformation in a bougie location. Like transformation is cool and all, but have you done it in the bougiest of locations? Because that is how we like to transform.
so you could fire walk or you could go do this. I think this would be,
Yeah, it's a firewalk. I bet rebar with my throat. you know.
I like this flavor much better.
Yeah.
Lisette, you are a gift. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so honored. And the emotions that I feel in your presence aren't uh anything but energizing and just the connective spirit you have. The entire crew that does your mastery morning, thank you. Thank you. And all the information will be in the show notes. You can message me, you can message Lisette. I'll give you more information. Lisette, what would you like listeners to come away with? What's your hope as they are finishing up listening to this with you?
Mm. My deepest desire is that even just one listener gets a different perspective, a more empowered perspective, and they walk through their day a little bit lighter from our conversation.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. This has been an honor. I appreciate you so much.
Wow. That was just such an incredible listening to it again. I'm like, I'm so inspired. I'm so inspired. I just loved that you have so much permission to, you don't have to change if you don't want to. And, we're both big proponents of growth and change and all the expansion, all the things. And it's because we like to and we want to, and it's a desire. And just that freedom that you reminded people of, like, if you don't want your life to change, that's fine.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone's life path is so different. I know for me, I needed to change. I could not survive with the trajectory I was on.
Same, girl, same.
Yeah. And so it is always an invitation to change. And if you don't want to, that's cool too. For sure.
But just that reminder, it was just really, really beautiful. And then I feel like it opens oneself up to go, well, do I actually like the life that I've created? Do I want more? Do I have dreams on my heart? Because I know for me, it's always about getting to my next level, you know? And like, sometimes people are like, we got to heal the past and da, da, da. And I'm like, that's part of it. But really what I'm looking for is towards the future. And I want to create the most luxurious, the most juicy, the most pleasure-filled, the most orgasmic future present now that I can. And so that is what leads me into the space of like, yes, I would like to up level. Yes, I'm interested in growth and understanding where do I have my hand on my own boot on my face.
I love that meme. One of my favorites if you haven't seen it. It's
little girl with search meme, little girl with boot on face.
I think it's a little boy.
Is it a little boy? Child with boot on face.
Yeah. You'll see what we're talking about. It was so fun. And if you have a question, please give us a call at 971-895-4111. Leave us a question, or you can reach out to us at Honest Feedback Podcast on Instagram, and you can DM us your message. People have really been enjoying DMing us messages.
I know. I miss the voices.
I miss the voices.
We're here for all the questions.
Yeah, all the questions, however they want to come in. We love having them. And if you enjoyed this conversation, which I know you did, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, share this with a friend. And until we meet again, be honest with each other.
Bye.